The idea is that when residents go there, hopefully during their 2-week observership, they are able to gain perspectives and insights into delivering such high quality eye care in these settings with limited resources.
Welcome to Season 6 of EyeCan, a podcast about ophthalmology through a uniquely Canadian lens. EyeCan is co-hosted by me, Hadi Sahed, and Heather O'Donnell. Throughout the season, we'll have guest co-hosts for some of our shows. We will share our experiences as ophthalmologists today and tackle some of the challenges we face as healthcare providers. Season 6 of EyeCan is brought to you by Astellas Pharma Canada and Johnson & Johnson Vision. We thank them for their support. In today's episode of EyeCan, we sit down with Dr. Vishaal Bhambhwani to discuss how the COS Foundation is advancing education, innovation, and global outreach, and where this momentum is leading next. Dr. Bhambhwani is a pediatric ophthalmologist with extensive training from renowned institutions in Mumbai, Delhi, Auckland, and Toronto. He has completed 2 fellowships in pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus, one at the University of Auckland and another at the Hospital for Sick Children at the University of Toronto. Based in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Dr. Bhambhwani runs a busy ophthalmology practice, providing comprehensive care in cataract, anterior segment, and medical retina services, as well as pediatric ophthalmology and strabismus. In addition to his clinical work, he has been actively involved in global eye care initiatives with Orbis and has worked to improve access to care in rural and remote communities. Vishaal, we're thrilled to have you on EyeCan. Welcome, and let's jump right in.
Thanks, Harry. Good evening, and thanks for the amazing introduction, and looking forward to chatting with you.
Me as well. So we're particularly interested to hear more about your role at the COS Foundation. You're just coming to the end of your first year there as president of the COS Foundation. And so could you tell us more and describe how this past year and how education, humanitarian, global initiatives reflect the foundation's commitment to some of their core values like equity, excellence, and long-term impact?
Yeah, it's been a very exciting year. I'm almost coming to the end of my first year as the foundation president, and it's been great working with an amazing team. So Elizabeth, Kim, Katie, Monica, everyone's been fantastic. The board has been very supportive. So it's been a great experience this past 1 year. We are looking forward to some exciting new projects that are in the pipeline. We have almost completed phase 1 of one of the new projects that we started, and we'll chat more about it as we go along. Also, a lot of the older projects that the foundation was already supporting, we have moved ahead on as well. So it's been a very productive year overall. When I had started in this position, my vision for the foundation was basically twofold. One was to support projects which improve access to eye care in the more underserved communities, both in Canada and internationally. And second was to involve more learners in the workings of the foundation, because they are the future leaders in our field. And most of our project will be supporting that vision this year and in the years to come.
So interesting. With my hat at the Canadian Glaucoma Society, we also identified, encouraging and empowering the next generation, or as it's in French, la relève, as a priority for the Canadian Glaucoma Society. So it sounds like the COS and the COS Foundation have similar goals. So it's a good time to be a future ophthalmologist or glaucoma specialist. So can you tell us more about the COS Foundation Resident Award on this theme of investing in future leaders? Tell me more about that.
Yes, absolutely. So the COS Foundation is starting the COS Foundation Resident Award for the first time in 2026. And this award supports a 2-week observership for a Canadian ophthalmology resident at an international center of excellence. And it supports up to $6,000 for the Canadian ophthalmology resident to support travel and to support this educational opportunity. And we are grateful to Biocon Canada, which is the company that has supported this project of ours. And we, for this year, have partnered with two amazing centers in India, the LV Prasad Eye Institute and the Arvind Eye Institute. And we are looking at these centers as they provide exceptional care in ophthalmology, but they are also a model for providing care in resource limited settings and also providing care again to underserved communities. So the idea is that when residents go there, hopefully during their 2 week observership, they are able to gain perspectives and insights into delivering such high quality eye care in these settings with limited resources, and hopefully bring some of these ideas back home so that they can be integrated into their future practice. The applications for these awards are now open, and obviously, I encourage all residents to apply. And the winner of the award would be announced at the COS meeting in Montreal in 2026. And the idea is that once these residents have completed their fellowship, their observership in at these centers of excellence, so we want them to come back and give us their insights into what they learned, and they will be presenting their stories at the COS meeting the year after. So that would be in 2027. So it's a very exciting opportunity, and we are looking forward to receiving applications for the same.
It's amazing. A few residents that come to mind that definitely should apply for this award, maybe already might have done so themselves, but I'll reach out to them. So this is interesting in terms of global outreach. Is there something similar for national outreach for underserved areas in Canada? Or if there's not something similar, is what would you recommend to learners that are wanting to do something similar here in Canada?
Absolutely. So one of the projects that I have worked with and that does an amazing job at providing care to underserved communities in Canada is the EyeVan program, which is run by the Vision Loss Rehabilitation Canada Society and CNIB. And basically, it is, as you probably know, Hadi, is like a van which is set up as an ophthalmology office, and that drives through a number of smaller communities and centers in Northern Ontario to provide care to patients closer to home. And a lot of Canadian ophthalmologists actually volunteer their time every year. And usually, one ophthalmologist would stay in a community for about a week or so and provide eye care to patients in that community. And not only that, there are also certain procedures that can be performed on the IVAN, like laser procedures, minor surgical procedures, things like that. So I think the IVAN would be an excellent project for like a medical student or a resident to volunteer their time at, because there is obviously a lot to learn, and not just about ophthalmology, but also how care is actually provided in these underserved communities. And as I was personally on the IVAN in Red Lake a few years ago, I know for sure that the community really appreciates it, and patients are very grateful for receiving care closer to home.
Going back to the global partnerships you were talking about before, can you tell us more about the Panama Project and how it fits into the rest of your initiatives globally?
Yeah, so the Panama project is basically the first international project of its kind that the COS Foundation has supported. And it was conducted under the leadership of Dr. Vivian Yin, an excellent ophthalmologist from Canada. She's done amazing work on the project and worked very, very hard on it. A lot of stakeholders collaborated to make this project a possibility. So it was the Panamanian government, the Panamanian embassy in Canada, the public hospitals in Panama City, Panamanian ophthalmologists, and obviously Canadian ophthalmologists. So this project, there were because it was the first project of its kind that the foundation supported. So there were obviously a lot of challenges and a lot of learnings that came out of it. And what this project involved in phase one was more of an exploratory phase where we had ophthalmologists travel from Canada, volunteer ophthalmologists who actually went to Panama City and operated on Panamanian patients in the public hospital system. Some of these patients had been waiting for over 5 to 6 years for cataract surgery. I myself was there for about a week, and some of the patients that I saw, they had been waiting for cataract surgery for 6 to 8 years. Some of them had brown, black, white cataracts. And we had ophthalmologists sort of going every week. So we had one ophthalmologist each week in Panama City operating on these patients. And over time, I don't have the exact numbers, but I think we did over 200 cataract surgeries in Panama this way. And in addition, we also sort of tried to find out what the roadblocks were in the Panamanian system itself in terms of conducting these surgeries, because ophthalmologists from Canada going to Panama is sort of a temporary solution. But in the long run, we wanted to provide support to strengthen the system in Panama so that over time, the system itself is strengthened and and the surgical volumes are up, the expertise is better, the training is better, and that is what we are working towards now. So the challenges that we saw obviously were things like equipment shortages, shortages of disposables, issues with staff, limited nursing support, things like that. So each ophthalmologist that went to Panama was basically a problem solver. They tried to do the best with what was available. And now going forward, as a part of phase two of the project, we hope to have the support staff from Panama come to Canada in batches to try to see how surgery can be conducted in a more efficient manner, how more cases can be done in a day, and also hopefully to train some Panamanian ophthalmologists in more complex ophthalmological procedures, which they can go back home and provide to their local patients. So again, it was one of those projects where you sort of realize what it takes to make an international project work, because I've worked with other organizations like Orbis in the past as well. And for a lot of these international projects, you have like entire teams that go to a particular place, whereas CS Foundation is a small foundation in that sense. Vivian did a lot of the work herself. Like she was helping with travel bookings, malpractice insurance, making sure everything on the ground was running efficiently, obviously with the help of other authorities in Panama as well. So it was a very exciting and humbling experience, and we learned a lot on how to organize an international project, and the Panamanian authorities were obviously very grateful for the service that Canadian ophthalmologists provided there. So it was an exciting project to be a part of.
What an undertaking. That's really impressive. So it sounds like the COS Foundation Resident Award is more of an opportunity for a learner here in Canada to go and be exposed to, world-class institution like LV Prasad. Then there's this Panama Project where ophthalmologists here in Canada are going and operating on patients, but also trying to make that project more sustainable beyond just the kind of the ophthalmologist coming in and operating and leaving. How about the Future Leader in Global Ophthalmology Award associated with Orbis? How does that compare to those two projects you just talked about?
Orbis, first of all, Orbis has always been very supportive of the COS Foundation. So first of all, I would like to thank Orbis Canada, Hunter Sherwick, Lisa McKean. All of these people at Orbis have been a great support for the COS Foundation. And we partner with Orbis on this award where, like we said at the start, we want to involve more learners in the workings of the foundation, because these learners are going to be future leaders in ophthalmology. And the Future Leader in Global Ophthalmology Award is an award that celebrates the achievements of these learners, and it's actually amazing when I go through the applications that come in for this award. It's so amazing to see the kind of work these learners have done so early in their career. It's like last year. the student who got the award, she had, already done so many research projects in ophthalmology, several clerkships. She was, I think, going to a place in Africa to support eye care there. So it's amazing to see what these students are doing at such a young age. And this award is just our small endeavor in supporting these learners and celebrating their achievements.
She's one of our residents at McGill, and I can tell you that it's not just on paper. She's quite impressive, even in
Oh,
person, and
absolutely.
we're
Absolutely.
so proud of her. Let's pivot a little bit more to your COS Foundation's role in kind of national leadership and contributions. The Harold Stein Innovator Lectureship is something that we hear about at the COS. Can you tell us more about what we can expect for that lectureship here in 2026 in Montreal, and what the role of this lectureship is?
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, as we know, with any organization, the availability of funds is something that is really important for any organization to support projects and to make sure we achieve our vision. And yeah, in that sense, first of all, we are very grateful to the Stein family for their generous contributions to the COS Foundation in supporting this lectureship award, which is the Harold Stein Innovator Lectureship Award. And this award is being going on since 2018, where a keynote speaker is awarded this lectureship, and they talk about advanced innovations in ophthalmology that they have been a part of. And every year since 2018, we've had amazing people present their lectures on different innovations in ophthalmology. And I think 2025 was no exception. We had Dr. Julie Scalhorn talk about presbyopia, correcting intraocular lenses in 2025. And I personally don't know who the lecture is going to be given by in 2026, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
EyeCan wants to know what you think. Please send your comments on today's episode or any suggestions you may have for topics or features to communications@cos-sco.ca, and we'll try to incorporate them into future episodes.
EyeCan veut savoir ce que vous en pensez. Veuillez envoyer vos commentaires sur le balado d'aujourd'hui ou vos recommandations de sujets à communication@cos-sco.ca et nous essaierons de les intégrer dans les prochains épisodes.
Hi, I'm Alan Slomovic. I'm a cornea specialist from Toronto, and I listen to EyeCan podcast.
What do you want listeners to know about how they can contribute? If somebody is listening to the incredible work you're doing and saying, I want to be part of that, I want to contribute, in some way, or even, to the extent of a lectureship, what's the best way for them to move forward with that?
Oh, we would love any contribution from the community. So everyone can volunteer with the COS Foundation. They can volunteer their time. Like we spoke about Canadian ophthalmologists supporting the Panama Project and going to Panama to perform cataract surgery. We've had residents volunteer to help with the social media channels for the COS Foundation. So there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer your time for the COS Foundation. Obviously, contributing funds, if you're able to, donating to the foundation. We have a platform, Canada Helps, through which we accept donations for the COS Foundation. So if you're able to, we'd be very grateful for your support there. And yeah, in general, just supporting the work of the foundation, following us on social media to stay informed about our projects and awards would be great, and we would really appreciate that.
As I was looking through the various initiatives for the COS Foundation, something that piqued my curiosity was the role and the award for the Canadian Orthoptic Council. And so I'm curious why the COS Foundation felt like this was important, and how does this fit into the advancement of the COS's mission?
as ophthalmologists, we are always grateful to orthoptists for the joint patient care that they provide for our patients. I've trained in pediatric ophthalmology, so my subspecialty partnerships with orthoptists have been even more important. And we were approached by the Canadian Orthoptic Council to see if there was a way in which we could together support education for orthoptists to advance their learning, to provide CME opportunities to them. And on the lines of that conversation, we have decided to support the orthoptists to attend the COS meeting so that they can gain more experience. They can meet other ophthalmologists, other orthoptists, and contribute together in advancing patient care.
Great. And we started our conversation around learners, and I'd like to wrap it up with a similar question about learners, and specifically the medical student travel grants and also the Young Ophthalmologist Symposium keynote. How has this gone so far, and what's the goal of these two initiatives?
Obviously, we want medical students to be interested in ophthalmology. We want to inspire them to choose ophthalmology as a career option. And in keeping with that theme, we want to support initiatives that build medical student interest in ophthalmology. We want to provide them opportunities to be involved in meetings, conferences, in ophthalmology research, clerkships, and the medical student grants are a step in that direction. We support medical students to attend the COS meeting where hopefully they can find more opportunities in ophthalmology, and hopefully that would pique their interest in the specialty. And the same is true for the Young Ophthalmologist Symposium speaker as well. For all of us, Harry, as you know, mentors have been really important in our journey, right from our medical student days to our residency and fellowship days, and even now. And just getting medical students to be at these meetings so early on in their journey helps them make these connections early on, and hopefully they can build these relationships, professional and personal, for a long time in their career, and be a part of the ophthalmology community.
So an interesting comment that might come up about this is that, ophthalmology has been a very desirable specialty, I think everywhere in the world, but especially in Canada. And we often, it's very competitive. There's often more applicants than spots. And so do you think that's a reason to engage less? Because it's not a challenge that COS has, which to attract, future residents. There's always ample number of applicants. So how does that pushback resonate with you, knowing that there will always be enough applicants?
I'm so glad you asked that, Harry, because I think things are very different in Toronto or in Southern Ontario compared to where I work. So I work in Thunder Bay in Northern Ontario, and the medical school here is the Northern Ontario School of Medicine with branches in Sudbury and Thunder Bay. And it has been the regular feedback we receive from medical students here is that even if they want to get into ophthalmology, they don't find enough mentors, they don't find enough supervisors. There are not as many clerkship opportunities, not as many research opportunities. Obviously, there is a shortage of ophthalmologists in the north. It's hard for ophthalmologists to find time to engage in education and research when their clinical practices are so busy. So we want to provide an opportunity, at least a level playing field for these medical students who want that exposure in ophthalmology, but unfortunately are not being afforded those opportunities because the region that they are in just doesn't have those opportunities available. So we want to give a level playing field and try to make sure that they get the opportunities that they deserve just as being in medical school. You should have exposure to all specialties so that you can decide what specialty you want to go into. And I think if somebody, say in Southern Ontario, gets those opportunities and somebody in the North doesn't, then I don't think that's fair. And that's one of the reasons why COS and the foundation supports these endeavors, and so that even if there are regions where medical students are not finding those opportunities locally, at least on an international on a national platform like the COS meetings, they are at least able to connect with others and try to find something that interests them.
I really like that because I think, one of the criticism of the ophthalmology application process is that, it can be so intimidating sometimes because the typical applicant is somebody who, chose to go pursue ophthalmology very early on in their med school program, have access to all these, unpaid research opportunities and travel to do electives at multiple places to build up their CV and network. And that's not always accessible to everybody. And so I think, one of the amazing things about these initiatives is that it probably broadens a little bit the kind of medical student that we can attract, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a diverse applicant pool. So I really commend you and the rest of COS to commit to these initiatives, even though we're not looking for we don't need a bigger applicant pool, but I think having a more diverse applicant pool, and diversity really in all senses of the word, will allow for kind of a better workforce and a better service to the different communities in our country. So high five for that. That's great. What we will finish with is the lightning round, which is a bunch of questions that I'll just throw at you. They're meant to be short and meant to allow me and the listeners to get to know a little bit more about the Vishaal behind the COS president role and the rest of your impressive accolades. So just humor me with some of these questions. So I'll just start with one of my favorite topics, which is travel. So can you tell us your favorite travel destination so far, and maybe something on your bucket list in terms of travel destination you haven't been to yet?
So my favorite travel destination is New Zealand. I actually I was a fellow in New Zealand in Auckland, so I spent almost a year there. So I basically traveled all around New Zealand, the North and South Island, and it's a place I can't forget. I love to travel. It's sort of a passion for both my wife and me. So we do try to travel quite a bit. We love interacting with local people when we travel, the culture, food. So it's something that we really like to do. And New Zealand definitely is right up there. And another place that we really loved was Costa Rica. We were there a couple of years ago, and we did a road trip through about half of Costa Rica. We still have to do the other half, but that was really nice as well. And Costa Rica, we especially enjoyed the food again, the hospitality, the wildlife, birds. So those two places I would say are right up.
Awesome. And how about a bucket list item, somewhere you haven't been to yet?
I think we want to go to Antarctica at some point, but I think it'll probably have to wait when we have a little bit more time, but we definitely want to go.
Amazing. Great. And in terms of fitness, are you more of a resistance training or a cardio guy?
I'm actually more of a yoga person. I like
Nice.
yeah. So I'm more vinyasa, restorative, hatha yoga, and a little bit of cardio to go with it.
You'll have to show me. You'll have to show me your tricks. I can't say I'm an expert in that at all. That's great. Tell us about your Spotify playlist or whatever music platform you use. What kind of music are you typically listen to?
So I grew up listening to a lot of Hindi Bollywood music. So I grew up in India. So that's something that will always stay close to me. So Bollywood is right up there. But in addition to that, a lot of artists. Coldplay is one of my favorites. Ed Sheeran. Yeah, it's we
Nice.
were recently at a Shakira concert, which was quite nice too. So Yeah,
Yeah.
a mix of everything.
And how are your Bollywood dance moves?
I'm okay. I can hold
You're
my
okay.
place on the dance floor.
Awesome. Well, Vishal, this has been a great chat, and so thank you for your time and really on behalf of the COS and really on behalf of many of us across the country, thank you for the amazing work you're doing with the COS Foundation. It's so relevant, and it seems like such a great long-term investment in the future of our field, both here nationally and globally. So thanks again, and kudos to you for all the great work that's being done.
No, thanks a lot, Harry. I just want to just say one last thing is obviously there's a big team that is responsible for a lot of the work of the foundation. So Liz Fowler, Kim Teitler, and Katie and Kate and the board, the volunteers. I mentioned about residents who were creating posts for social media. So Daniel Lambero, Nicole Costanzo, John Liu, and I'm sure I'm missing out a lot of people. Vivian Yin, I mentioned before. So everyone's been fantastic, and it's been great working with the team.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. We look forward to bringing you more engaging content over the coming months.
Merci de vous être joint à nous pour cet épisode. Nous avons hâte de vous proposer d'autres contenus captivants au cours des prochains mois.
EyeCan wants to know what you think. Please send your comments on today's episode or any suggestions you may have for topics or features to communications@cos-sco.ca, and we'll try to incorporate them into future episodes.
EyeCan veut savoir ce que vous en pensez. Veuillez envoyer vos commentaires sur le balado d'aujourd'hui ou vos recommandations de sujets à communication@cos-sco.ca et nous essaierons de les intégrer dans les prochains épisodes.
Thank you from the Canadian Ophthalmological Society.
Merci de la part de la Société canadienne d'ophtalmologie. Our sponsors for Season 6 of EyeCan are Astellas Pharma Canada and Johnson & Johnson Vision. We thank them for their support.
EyeCan is available wherever you listen to your podcasts and, of course, through the COS Practice Resource Center.
EyeCan est disponible partout où vous écoutez vos balados et bien sûr au Centre de ressources pour la pratique de la SCO.
Listening to EyeCan counts for unaccredited MOC credits. Listeners may claim 0.5 credits per hour under Section 2, which is individual learning as educational content review, and that can be done up to 30 credits per year.
EyeCan is written and directed by Kim Teitler and produced by John Allaire from Allaire Strategic Works.
EyeCan est écrit et réalisé par Kim Teitler et produit par John Allaire d'Allaire Strategic Works. Some episodes this season will include relevant links and show notes, so be sure to check episode descriptions to learn more. Certains épisodes de cette saison incluront des liens pertinents dans les notes d'émission, alors n'oubliez pas de consulter les descriptions des épisodes pour en savoir plus.
If any of our listeners have topic ideas to submit, please email them to communications@cos-sco.ca, and we will review for consideration.